There's some positive news emerging out of the Middle East, and it's covered not so much by Western media, but certainly by the Israeli press as an intriguing development. The Iran-backed militias have announced a suspension of military operations against Israel, marking a significant shift in the regional dynamics. And according to reports in Lebanon and to Israeli media, this decision stems from a strategic reassessment rather than a change of heart, but it does seem to be a clear decision. The move comes in the middle of this volatile backdrop of shifting power structures in Syria, political recalibration in Iraq, and the looming influence of Donald Trump's impending appointment as the next US president. Shia militias, including Iraq's al-Najouba movement, confirmed that they would monitor the situation from a distance, particularly in Syria, and halt direct attacks on Israel. And this decision reportedly aligned with directives from Iranian leadership, but allowing operational autonomy is striking given the militia's historically uncompromising stance against Israel, and the suspension reflects a broader regional strategy driven by three major factors. First of all, the power vacuum in Syria itself, the ousting of Bashar al-Assad, and very interesting news that his wife apparently, according to various reports yesterday, wants to divorce her husband, reports in Turkey, wants to divorce her husband and return to the UK. But David Lammy has made it quite clear that she is not welcome here and that she would have difficulty returning in any case. But I suppose she still has a passport, and therefore we enter that murky territory of can a country rescind a passport for somebody who was born in that country and is therefore a national. It becomes very difficult, no matter what they may have done. And for Tehran, engaging in external conflicts while navigating the turbulence of Syria risks overextension. The second point is the impending administration of Donald Trump in Washington, and militias are pausing to gauge its stance on Iran. Will Trump adopt his predecessor's hawkish policies, or will his unpredictable approach yield an unexpected détente? The militia's restraint buys Tehran time to strategize and regroup. The third point is Iraq and Iraq's stability, and discussions with the Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani suggest Baghdad's push to distance itself from regional conflicts, and Iraq, struggling with internal divisions and external pressures, wants to avoid becoming a battlefield in the Iran-Israel proxy war. The suspension of hostilities, particularly operations tied to Gaza and Hezbollah activities, may provide Israel with temporary relief, but it's no olive branch, and militias remain ideologically committed to opposing Israel, as evidenced by the rhetoric they put out even in this pause. Furthermore, the decision doesn't extend to US forces in Iraq and Syria, which continue to face militia aggression. The American military presence is seen as a critical pillar of Israeli security and remains a flashpoint. The decision underscores divisions within the pro-Iranian coalition, and while some factions advocate restraint, others, emboldened by perceived Iranian backing, push for escalation. This discord mirrors Iraq's internal political fragmentation, where support for Palestinian resistance unites factions, but their methods diverge. Also, of course, it is probable that the emerging Syrian regime has effectively had a quiet word and said that it doesn't want this sort of activity to continue within its borders. And Israel faces, even with this pause, Israel faces a precarious security landscape, because despite the temporary lull, The underlying hostility persists, with militias retaining their capabilities even if they're not going to do anything at the moment. Iran's proxies have leveraged drones and missiles in the past, causing casualties even as many attacks fail. And Israel's leadership must now weigh its response, balancing deterrence with the risks of igniting a broader conflict. The decision by Iran-backed militias to halt operations, therefore, against Israel reflects a calculated pause rather than a fundamental shift. It's a reason for modest rejoicing, but certainly not jubilant celebrations. It allows Tehran and its proxies to reassess their strategies in the light of regional instability, regroup, rearm, and the uncertainty surrounding US policy under Trump is something that they can reassess. This development should not be mistaken in any way for peace. It's a tactical pause in a game of global chess where each move is designed to buy time, manage risks, and preserve leverage, the opportunity. The Middle East, as ever, remains a cauldron of shifting alliances and calculated ambiguity. And for now, all eyes are not turned inward. It's no longer, not at the moment, it's not introspective. It's looking at Washington and possibly a little at Tehran to see whose next move defines the region's future. The region's future is not at this moment in the hands of the Iranian militia.